Welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone. George Tulianos to buy his book, Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Just released a new and improved edition. You can also read it about his column every month in the page of Muscular Development magazine. And there's a new article every Tuesday on musculardevelopment.com from the doctor. Please welcome from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Tulianos. How are you, doctor?
Hello, Ron. It's been 30 days exactly since my last workout. 4 weeks, yes. And I have stabilized now to 95 kilograms. I look really thin with a suit, and I don't like the way I look. By the way, now this kind of spare time, I'm taking advantage of this. So I'm translating to English the supplementation and the nutrition of my Greek editions.
Oh, okay.
And I think I'm going to add also the training. So the title will be Training, Nutrition, Supplementation Basics.
Wow.
So this is basics, mainly, for people who lift. But I wouldn't say, professional bodybuilders and advanced bodybuilders do know these things. Right. However, there are some basic facts that they should know from a scientific perspective, because I also was myself a bodybuilder. Right. So I'm going to have the whole pack of my Greek books now by this summer that I'm going to release this book as well. So I have the drugs in those two books, those two editions. And now I'm going to add the workout, the training, and the food stuff,
Yeah. Now, hold on. You weren't just a bodybuilder, dog. You were the Greek National Masters champion, correct?
No Masters champions. I was a light heavy. I won the IFBB Nationals in 2009 in my class, and I was runner-up at the overall.
Okay.
Yeah, so I finished my career after the Masters. Oh. So I've competed 10 times totally from 2000 to 2013, and I was in 4 different seasons. I prepared myself.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we got a lot of questions, doctor. People got a lot of time on their hands, and they're asking questions.
16 questions, we broke the record.
Dude, one of them came in like 2 in the morning last night, because I was all set. I had everything printed out, and then I saw there was one more question that you sent to me. So, sir, you got in at the very last minute. So let's get moving here, because we got number 1, doctor. What's your opinion about using only Proviron for improving muscularity? What are the possible side effects, as it does not suppress the HPTA axis, lowers SHBG, and does not aromatase? Is it a miracle drug without side effects? And for how long can we use it? And then he wants to know, could it be combined with DHEA, 50 milligrams per day? But what about this? Proviron only. Was this a good idea?
Well, Proviron is synthetic DHT, is mesterolone, and actually DHT is not a strong anabolic. So Proviron is considered as an androgen. Besides, in the system, DHT is 5 times more androgenic than testosterone. And actually, testosterone is reduced to DHT, so we can say that testosterone is a prohormone to DHT. Now, DHT is capable of elevating free testosterone, but it does not aromatize, so it has benefits that it does not suppress that much HPTA because there's no E2 production, but there is improvement in sex drive, in self-esteem, and also you can speculate that this free testosterone is responsible for strength, but not serious anabolic drive, but sex drive, yes, and cognitive function and self-esteem. So what makes more of a man, Besides, Proviron is used to third-age people, men, who are lack of self-esteem and, they are looking for an extra sex drive. It's not liver toxic, so it's a miraculous drug. It's very cheap in Greece. 20 tablets cost about $5. There's no required prescription. And you can add it as a monotherapy along with DHEA in people with sluggish sex drive in the middle age. Yeah. And it does not suppress seriously HPTA. As a matter of fact, it can boost the FSH and sperm production. It's it's a very peculiar drug, and it was initially produced in Germany.
Could you stay on it forever? Or do you have to cycle on and off of it?
Of course, you can cycle on and off, but don't expect a super. If you start dating a super hot girl, you may use Proviron, and also stack it with DHEA. You're gonna have some benefit in your 30s, for instance, or in your 40s. But if you are not already into replacement therapy, now if you're into replacement therapy, you can add this for life also. Okay. I use all year long, and it provides some substantial benefits in the mental sphere, you know. But also, I've noticed that when I stop using Proviron, my fat a little bit elevates. So
Okay.
I look more hard, you know,
Yeah.
and leaner because it has this anti-estrogenic effect, but also all androgens oxidize adipose tissue.
That's the one of the few things I've never tried is Proviron. Maybe it's about time. I'll just have to make a trip to Greece. Next.
It's a libido enhancer for you. It's gonna be a
Oh, I
libido.
don't want that. I don't want that. No, bad, bad, bad. No libido enhancer. No. Here we go. Next, I heard MK677 makes you insulin insensitive over time and cause you to hold more water. Is that true? I'm looking to take some nightly just for better repair and healing and maybe improved fat loss. Is it worth it? And if so, how much should I take? Yeah, does MK677 make you insulin sensitive or what's the
Now,
word? Insulin resistant. He's looking for insulin resistant is the word we use.
yes. So if this happens, and I guess this guy messes MK677 with growth hormone because this kind of secretagogue is supposed to boost growth hormone releasing hormone that stimulates endogenous growth hormone production. But we know that growth hormone itself may lead to insulin resistance. But I don't think this peptide may lead to that. However, we know that some peptides like sermorelin and GHRP6, RP2, and perhaps MK677 stimulate appetite because they are ghrelins analogs. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone released from the stomach, from the fundus of the stomach, and it has to do with appetite. And as a matter of fact, these GHRH peptides boost tremendously appetite. So I don't think there is any case of insulin resistance. Of course, with growth hormone, you may face that, and the more you use, the more gluconeogenesis is going to produce from the liver to the bloodstream, and then you have the glycemia effect that is responsible for the insulin resistance or the less insulin sensitivity. So I don't think so.
Okay. I guess his last question was, what's the dose, the standard dose for MK677?
I never use it. I never used it, you know, frankly, no.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. I'm taking Winstrol along with Sustanon. I heard you say you would put Winstrol in your delts with an insulin syringe. Is a half-inch big enough? Can I put a half cc in, which would be 50 units? I think he means 50 milligrams. Do I need to aspirate? And then he tells you he's 6 foot, 205 pounds.
So Winstrol, stanozolol, and all the suspension solutions, like also testosterone suspension, and perhaps there was a case of Trembolone-based, water-based, 10 years ago from a non-pharmaceutical company. So all these solutions, they may be injected with an insulin syringe in the delts, intramuscularly, of course, shallow intramuscular.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to aspirate in such a small dose because you should perhaps half ml here and a half ml over here, you know. And you have to know it's painful. The water-based solutions like stanozolol, like Winstrol, like testosterone suspension, like B12 cobalamin, they're really painful. Yeah, it feels like needles, you know.
He has a second part. He has
Yes.
another issue when he does these shots. He says, "Why does it lump up in my muscle?"
Everything lumps, including glutathione also. Yes, I also forgot to mention about glutathione, which is water-based.
Yeah.
Everything lumps, even oil, even water. And within 48 hours will go away. You have to massage it, you know. But it does, yes.
I mean, is it just inflammation? Is that what it is?
No, it's localized and it has to be diluted, you know.
Okay. Gotcha. Next one. I have a question about equipoise. I'll be running 1,000 milligrams of equipoise with some Tren and TRT. Hold on a second. You notice how guys, TRT to a lot of guys now just means testosterone. So they'll say I'm using Tren, Deca, whatever, Winstrol, and TRT.
TRT is just 200 milligrams. It doesn't sound reasonable to use 200 milligrams of testosterone with a gram of Deca. I mean, you're gonna kill your dick like this.
Okay, so the question is, you say equipoise does not convert to estrogen. Is that correct? And is it toxic to the kidneys? I've heard conflicting information. I should also add, I don't like DECA. It messes with my inability to finish. That's that inorgasmia we talk about
Okay,
sometimes.
if you have an orgasmia, you may use some Cabergol and some Dustinex and lower your prolactin.
Okay.
So the problem is solved. Besides, DECA, if it's pharmaceutical, is more anabolic than equipoise. Okay, it may aromatize a little bit more, but you need this kind of estrogens and fluid retention for the bulking.
Mm.
Equipoise is less aromatized. It's moderately aromatized. So, but you can take care of aromatization with a low dose of aromatase inhibitor. And I don't think it's toxic to the kidneys because it does not have so much impact on blood pressure. Now, drugs that elevate blood pressure, like Trenbolone, have an impact on kidneys because kidneys regulate blood pressure, and they stress the glomerulus because higher blood pressure than the glomerulus is affected. That's why the kidneys then are burnt out from too high blood pressure induced by anabolic steroids. All anabolic steroids elevate a little bit of blood pressure due to aldosterone, but some more, like Tren, for instance.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using Tren and Test, I don't, unless you're a pro bodybuilder, I don't think anybody needs 1,000 milligrams of equipoise a week. That's a lot of equipoise. Unless you're like a 350-pound world strongman or something. I don't know.
And imagine that equipoise is just 50 milligrams per ml, so you need a ton of oil, eh?
What's that? 20 shots it would take you to give wow, that's a lot.
Unless you have 200 milligrams in 1 ml. It's more chance.
That's true. Okay, next one. What would be an optimal dosage of DECA for joint health without holding too much water? I was thinking about around 150 milligrams a week.
I would say 100 milligrams are enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, then you're going to get more puffy here, bloating face.
I've been doing
to minimize carbs and your estrogens, maybe.
Because I do 50 milligrams of DECA. I'm sorry, 100. Hold on, I'm all mixed up. Half a mil. I do 100. It comes out to like 150 a week or almost 200 a week. It's very much less than what I used to be, but my joints are fine.
A little bit of anabolic drive,
Yeah. DECA, we love DECA. What is your opinion on recomp cycles utilizing HRT doses of test and 12.5 milligrams anadrol? 12.5, where are you going to find 12.5 milligrams of anadrol? Daily with a caloric deficit. When I go for low digits body fat, even in HRT, I have low blood pressure and therefore I lose strength. I'm thinking about alternating between lean bulking with test and DHT derivatives and cutting with anadrol and test. In that way, I would never have problems with blood pressure and preserve my kidneys. Does this sound like a good plan?
Well, anadrol is known to hold water, even though it's DHT derivative. So it's not a good idea, this about blood pressure, because holding water by sodium retention is that what aldosterone elevates blood pressure. So besides, anadrol is really toxic to the liver and also will mess up your lipids. It comes in 50 milligram tablets, so this is a quarter minutes. But no, I would say, methanol or primobolan is way more safe, or MPP is safer, choices, and stay out of pills. Now, if you're lucky enough to have primobolan in pills, but this is really hard to find and really expensive if there was any case. Or even Anavar, because Anavar is less toxic than anadrol, than oxymethylone.
Yeah. Yeah, I got primobolan pills once in my life. It was 2003, and I still don't know if they were real, but I was like, oh my God, primobolan pills. Wow. I was very excited.
It came in 50 milligrams, yes.
I don't know. They were tiny. They were so small. I think it was from some old Tokyo Pharmaceuticals, that old Mexican company with the bulldog on the bottle. Yeah, they used to make some good stuff. Okay, next, it's another oral question. Is it okay to run Anavar during TRT after a blast? Will your androgen receptors reset? I like to use Anavar during TRT. It helps me stay leaner.
So after a blast, what does he mean by that?
Okay, so yeah, so he's, I guess after a blast with, I don't know what he's using on the blast, larger amounts of steroids. And then,
okay, if you're using a blast, it means that you are building muscle. Now, when you're cruising, you have to stay away from anything else and just use low dose of testosterone. So after a blast, you'd be packed on mass. Why to use another anabolic steroid, which is also liver toxic, like anabolic. You may keep a little bit of DECA, Proviron. That's all.
Yeah. Did you want to answer this one about the guy says, how do I make my calves grow?
Yes, okay. Calves, as far as I know, they have also red twitch, slow slow twitch red muscle fibers.
Yeah.
They're not like the white that they are fast. So they kind of resistance because you walk with calves, just like you use your forearms. And as a matter of fact, also abs. So calves, forearms, and abs look like stubborn muscles that they need high repetition but high weight also. So you need to kill your calves to punish them with 15 reps to 20 with a heavy load, and also do the two basic exercises, which is standing calf raises for the gastrocnemius and seated calf raises for the soleus. Now the soleus muscles lie beneath the gastrocnemius and gives this thickness just above the ankle. Now white men are notorious to having huge soleus, like Jay Cutler, like Paul De Mayo, like Mike Matarazzo, like Dorian Yates, of course. Yeah. So, but black men usually have higher gastrocnemius and a thinner tibia, just above the ankle. However, this is there is substantial difference and benefit to the 100-meter sprinting. They have more elongated gastrocnemius and the Achilles tendon that gives them a privilege to running, sprinting actually.
Yeah.
Yes. So 15 to 20 reps, heavy load, and standing and seated. Now seated means 90 and 90. It's perpendicular. It's when the knee joint is flexed 90 degrees. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
My ex-wife used to sit on my knee. We were training together.
Yeah. Well, that's a fun way to train, though. I mean, it's better than weights.
And the donkey.
Before I can
to the solos, yes.
Before I continue, I want to ask people, guys, try to keep your questions a little shorter, please.
It's the story of his life. Eh?
I mean, yeah, try to stick to what's relevant. I'm going to go into one of the next questions. It's kind of long. Here we go. I'm 20 years old. I started using gear at 19. Just 500 milligrams testosterone for 2 months and 2 weeks. I recovered fairly fast. PCT was only Nolvadex, 40 milligrams. Only side effects were acne on forehead. A lot. Never had acne there, by the way, and still fighting it with Accutane. So after a month, I jumped on a new cycle, 500 milligrams test sip, 600 milligrams DECA, and tried to hit it off for the first 2 weeks with D-ball, 40 milligrams, but just didn't get to the second week anyway. Plus, for the other young fellows out there, just don't use D-ball. Got gyno on one side on the 4th or 5th day of D-ball. Then the lockdown happened. I stopped everything instantly. So the second cycle only went for 10 to 12 days, in which I exploded for some reason. Crazy pumps. Now, I got crazy hair loss. It's not genetic at all. Sex drive is 0, literally having forced intercourse. Didn't want to use Cialis to see if I'm recovering from cycle. It's 10 days since my last shot. I'm on Nolvadex 40 milligrams. Not sure it is legit. Indian pharmacy. Gonna use it for a week more, then switch to Clomid for 2 weeks. Good quality, straight from Greek pharmacy. And thinking to shoot 4 shots of HCG around 700 IU each shot, 1 every other day from Greek pharmacy as well. What's the best way to improve steadily and safely with gear in the long run? Okay, so here we get to the question. Without risking huge side effects like infertility, at least before 35 years old. What's a good way to prevent hair loss? And how can I get rid of acne? Very bad, lots of small spots, blah, 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 blah. He tells you he's 1.83 meters height, 93 kilos, 17% body fat. So I guess his question.
How to keep fertility on? You have to use HCG alongside with your steroid use, and afterwards perform also PCT with HCG and SERMs, low dose of SERMs. But first HCG, and after you stop, there comes the SERMs phase. Okay. Number 2 is how to avoid the hair thinning. Now, you can use also finasteride, but if you don't want to get castrated, because finasteride has a bad effect on the sex drive and on the mood, you may get depressed. You can use also minoxidil and ketoconazole locally applied in your scalp.
Yep.
And also perhaps some finasteride locally also applied as a powder after you wash your hair.
Yeah.
And number 3, about acne. Acne you have to use azelaic acid that cuts off DHT from the skin. Okay. Also, you may use some clindamycin lotion and Accutane, which is a retinoic acid, is the worst case of acne. You know, cystic acne, and it's liver toxic. It's also leads to some mood imbalances. You know. Also, acne has to do with you can wash with a Dettol shampoo, and you can also apply some purified alcohol. All right, so hygiene. But John, and UV also radiation helps a lot with acne, dry out the mucus on the sebum on the skin. That's all.
Okay, cool. Okay, we go from a 20-year-old to a 52-year-old. I'm a 52-year-old bodybuilder. I started TRT 16 months ago with Test Depot at 2 ml every 2 weeks. After listening to you guys, I changed to 1 ml every week. But after 8 months, I started having problems with my hematocrit, 0.563, and my hemoglobin to 190, my red blood cell 6.1, free test is 4.3, estradiol is 60. I have normal blood pressure, and the rest of my blood test is perfect. My libido is far from perfect, and my balls have shrunk, and almost nothing comes out when I ejaculate. Keep in mind that I live in Canada, and I had skin cancer a long time ago, so I can't give blood to make my hematocrit go down. Can you help me, please? I'm doing my TRT with the registered doc.
This guy has to be prescribed the therapeutical phlebotomy. That means his blood will be dropped but wasted afterwards.
Oh.
So blood donations means that you're healthy and somebody else can receive your blood. But under erythrocytosis that this guy has, because his hemoglobin is above 18, he's considered ill. So his blood has to be wasted afterwards. And also he can use fish oil and aspirin in order to prevent coagulation from the platelets. Another thing he can use is pentoxifylline, which is a drug that helps also circulation and helps red blood cells to pass through the tiny capillaries, so there's no congestion, you know.
Yeah.
He can lower perhaps his replacement therapy dose, but that's all. He has to do these prevention things. Another thing would be to stay away from red meat, because red meat by iron may increase your hemoglobin synthesis, you know.
Yeah.
So red meat, and along with cobalamin and folate and iron, these are the substrates in order to increase your hemoglobin. That's what anemic people do.
Gotcha. Okay. Next one. Can 600 milligrams of EQ total a week give off trend-like symptoms? My blood work and EKG came back fine in a recent checkup. No issues with breathing. I just have some left inner pec pain. Hurts when I touch it, but it feels worse after injecting 300 milligrams EQ twice a week. I started 600 milligram a week on week 5. I probably just strained my left inner pec doing dumbbell decline flies, but was wondering about the trend comparison. Can EQ give you trend-like symptoms?
EQ trend-like in what terms of?
I don't know. I mean, what are trend-like symptoms? The trend cough, night sweats?
No way. I mean, unless there is mezolium inside the acute pause. Now, the trend dick, which is prolactinemia and lower libido, I don't think so, unless your estrogens are really high enough from acupose.
Yeah.
Now he mentioned ECG. This is electrocardiogram. Has to do with heart monitoring. Right. Does he mean that trend gives him some arrhythmia? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know I don't know why he's concerned, because his blood work is fine, his EKG is fine, his breathing is fine. He has some pain.
Of pectoral pain.
Yeah, which
I
is
think
worse.
his pain has to do with muscle, with pectoralis major and his sternum, and perhaps there's some how you call strain to the muscle, or the muscles to the thorax, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes.
mean, you need to examine somebody like that in person. It's kind of a weird thing to try to answer like this over the internet. Okay, another big question, and sir, I say it again, guys. Please try to get to the point as quickly as you can, please. Please, I beg of you. Got a question regarding my heart. I'm a bit worried. I keep getting fluttering in my chest. It's like my heart keeps skipping a beat, and then I feel really anxious afterwards. Sometimes the fluttering goes on all day. Sometimes I'll go a week or two without feeling anything. It all started a few months ago. I was lying in bed one night. It felt like my heart stopped for a few seconds. I also felt some gurgling in my chest. It really scared the shit out of me. I started using steroids about 2 months prior to this, so I'm not sure if it's related or not. I feel fine, not tired, no strength loss, can do great cardio work without any problems. It usually seems to happen when I'm relaxed, like my heart rate drops, my blood pressure goes with it. I don't have a blood pressure machine, but a few weeks ago I was 150/90. The fluttering started the other day, and I quickly measured my heartbeat with my Samsung Health app. My heart rate was 48. I then checked my trends, and it seems, according to my watch, my heart rate drops to 38. Sometimes when I'm relaxed and when resting, sits around 45 to 55. It's weird because I'm not an elite athlete. I'm not really that fit. What do you think is going on? Currently, I'm only using 150 milligram tests every 5 days. When the fluttering started, I was using around 500 milligrams a week of test and about 50 milligrams oxandrolone daily. Can you give any insights into what might be going on? By the way, I've always had a slight arrhythmia where my heartbeat seems to skip a beat and then come back with an extra hard thud, but it has never bothered me, nor have I ever really noticed it until now. Maybe I'm just a bit freaked out and in tune with the palpitations because I'm concerned. Should I stop taking tests altogether and go back to being natural? My natural levels are only 300, so that's why I'm now just taking a low dose for extra virility and muscle gains. Whew, here we go, Doc.
Yeah. So
Fluttering heart.
yes.
Yeah.
So what he mentioned is right. He has arrhythmia, and maybe he has to be examined by using a holder, 24-hour holder for the heart rhythm. He has to perform not ECG but ultrasound echocardiogram of the heart, and also holder 24 hours. So he has to get taped taped with um, ECG, but bring this to your whole 24 hours, and you can't take a shower this at the time you have this. And then the next day you get examined by the cardiologist, and he analyzes your 24 hours ECG. Now after that, he may he may get introduced to use a pacemaker. Pacemakers are about the rhythm, because if it's really too slow, then you may have the heart stops, and definitely this guy has a heart arrhythmia. Now, heart arrhythmia is not just going upwards, but also going downwards,
Yeah.
and therefore he has to check this. His electrolytes also, sodium, potassium, chlorine, magnesium, calcium, that plays a role in the heart rhythm. And I think his problem is not testosterone, because actually testosterone optimizes heart rhythm by optimizing calcium and magnesium concentration, and these are key elements for the heart contraction. Yeah. But I think he used oxymethylone once, I think.
It was oxandrolone. What was it?
Oxandrolone. This was the problem. So testosterone is not a problem unless you use it to a large doses. So a TRT of 100 milligrams will not have a negative impact on his heart rate, but certainly he has to be examined with a holder and a heart ultrasound. Yeah. And perhaps consider of using a pacemaker.
Okay. Next one. Which is more likely to cause erectile dysfunction on HRT or a cycle? Low or high E2 levels, assuming only testosterone is being used?
Now, both of them are responsible, but I guess single-digit estrogens are more likely to cause, because we need some estrogens like women need some androgens, and estrogens are beneficial up to a certain degree, of course. Yeah. But definitely below 10 estradiol is really hard, rather than having a two-digital estradiol, but below 3-digital, so 90, for instance, 80. But I guess below 10 would be disastrous for sex drive.
Yeah. Is it a good idea to use an herbal diuretic, things like uva ursi, dandelion, and parsley, to help with water retention when using D-ball with test? I will be using Arimidex too.
Now, I think that estrogen production is the main role, the main reason of giving water retention. So, a Remidex will take care of this. We know that aldosterone also is stimulated by all steroids, but the water retention is caused by the aromatase ones. So it has to do with estrogens. Therefore, I don't think it's helpful to use some uva-ursi or dandelion. Besides, it would be even more beneficial to use some Lasix, but I don't think Lasix will be eventually helpful for some guy who uses some aromatase drug. So just take your anastrozole, and this is enough. Besides, you may lower your carbohydrate, because water intake comes also from carbs.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of nutritionals. If you eating too much of simple carbs, for instance.
Right. Okay, gotcha. Okay, our last question came in 3 hours. Wow, at some point in the middle of the night. I'm assuming he's from Australia, this guy Brett, because he starts off with "G'day." G'day, Ron and Dr. T. I'm 55. I've been on TRT for 5 years now. 1/2 ml of test every 5 days. I change the ester up with every new vial. Ananthate, propionate, Sustanon. Have taken DHEA with the TRT, but stopped 6 months ago. Introduced DECA for the past 3 months, 0.2 ml with the ester every 5 days for joint pain. But over time, my PSA continues to go up. It's now 7. I'm seeing a specialist. Have got the all clear, but I'm concerned. Have tried finasteride with saw palmetto over the years, but it has not lowered the PSA levels. What would be the best approach without stopping my TRT? Cheers.
I think you should have a rectal digital examination first, then have an MRI in your pelvis, and afterwards, last one would be a biopsy.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if the biopsy is negative, then you may proceed. Mind also that intercourse and having sex may elevate your PSA. Riding a bike also may elevate your PSA. Even biopsy may elevate a PSA because you puncture your prostate with anesthesia, of course, yes. And also you may have an infection in your prostatitis. So by taking some antibiotics, will your elevate lower.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily benign prostatic hypertrophy because your PSA is enlarging, and don't be afraid that you're approaching the cancer, So take the steps that I told you.
Okay. Well, doctor, that was a new record. 16 questions. Wow. Wow.
Fast, 35 minutes only.
Yeah, we did it, but I don't want to break that. I don't want 20 questions every damn week. Come on now.
It's about the currency now. People are getting bored, and we pay the price.
But I give you credit, doctor. You don't turn down any questions unless, it's like a kid with a bunch of rambling nonsense. No offense, kid. You know who you are. But yeah, you answer everybody's questions no matter what they're asking about. So thank you so much. Guys,
we are told that we're the best YouTube, not channel, show, because we answer so many questions. Generally, doctors answer very few questions, but we have a list all the time. And imagine if we were charging $10 for each question.
Well, let's get some more. Let's get some more views. Tell these guys watching this, tell your friends, share the videos. So
spoiled, Ron, the girl is so spoiled.
They are getting spoiled, but yeah, everyone's locked up.
Free knowledge, huh?
They got nothing to do. They just want to ask all their questions about steroids now. At least, I'm glad you're making use. You're translating a whole book during this time. I can't say I'm really getting anything special done. I haven't learned a new language or anything.
You have already written a book, huh?
I've written a couple books. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What about?
Well, Real Bodybuilding is the bodybuilding book. That's on Amazon. It's called Real Bodybuilding.
And what's about?
It's everything. It's, training, nutrition, motivation, workouts, supplementation.
When did you write that?
Geez, I wrote that in 2008. So it's a little dated, but still the info in there is solid. And then I have a book of horror stories called Evil X10. It's all one word.
How come you read this? Were you affected by the Exorcist movie?
Oh yeah, look. I've been watching horror movies since I was like 3 years old. I love horror movies, love horror books. I've probably read thousands of horror books and seen thousands of horror movies, I'm sure. I love that stuff. Halloween is my favorite.
You watch them at night?
Oh yeah. I just watched Hellfest last night. That was a good one. I've been waiting for that one to come out on demand. Hellfest. Yeah, I love that stuff. Anyway, you don't like horror movies, Doc?
Not really, you know, they upset
No,
me.
they're not
Because
for everybody.
sometimes I take them seriously. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, some people love like westerns. Some people like movies that I
You
just
know,
can't even watch.
the worst horror movies are not the Dracula ones or the Elm Street, but the one that are psychologically horror. You know.
Yeah, right. Paranormal Activity, The Exorcist, The Omen, stuff like that. It really creeps into you. I love that stuff.
You
Oh,
start believing in this. You know.
I do. I believe in all that stuff. I believe in ghosts, demons, all that stuff. Loch Ness
You
Monster.
remember Constantine with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, I love that movie. I love that movie. I've seen that movie like 10, 15 times.
Or the Emily Rose story was a real one.
Exorcism of Emily Rose, which was based on Anneliese Michel in Germany. Great movie. Love that. I
You know,
watched.
psychiatrists call them to be psychiatric patients, but also having schizophrenia. You know, psychotic, but they cannot explain this, of course.
No, there's a lot of stuff that can't be explained, and it's on record, it's on video, it's on audio. There's plenty that they can't explain. The Conjuring movies, you see any of those? Those are
You know,
good.
bodybuilders don't like because they elevate the cortisol.
If you're on enough steroids, it doesn't matter. You know, I like how they say, "Don't do this; it's going to elevate your cortisol. It's going to do this or that." I'm like, dude, if you're on test or whatever, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Oof. Anyway, I want to remind everyone, leave your questions right here in the comments underneath this video. Then we get to them in next week's video. Try to make them no longer than this. If they're longer than this on the page, try to trim it down. And I know I'm complaining. Sorry. Every Tuesday on musculardevelopment.com is Dr. T Tuesday. That's when we post this video on YouTube and on the website, musculardevelopment.com. New article every Tuesday by Dr. Tuliados, also on musculardevelopment.com. And of course, every month in the magazine, we got a new column from the doctor. So a lot of content from Dr. Tuliados, guys. He's doing good work. Whew.
For the next magazine for May, I'm having the testosterone 2,300 words,
Wow.
5 pages about
Wow.
testosterone. You know?
Yeah, your column expanded. You're given a couple more pages. It's good stuff. So
Yeah.
guys, you got all the Dr. T you need, guys. It's a good thing. Well, doctor, stay safe, stay sane. I know this is a crazy, crazy time in our world, but like we keep saying, we're all in it together. We really are. The whole world is going through this crap.
How was your Easter?
Didn't do anything. Didn't do anything.
Yeah, quite.
It was just another day, unfortunately. Usually we'll go to church, we'll go to someone's house, my mother-in-law's house to eat. Nothing.
This year is really strange.
Yeah, it didn't feel like Easter at all. Not at all. Did you do anything?
No, we have now. It's the Good Monday today, but we have the Easter next week. But this year, I mean, we don't understand anything. We don't feel anything about this.
Yeah. Everything's on hold. It's like the whole world is on pause. We need to hit play.
Well, just until the Arnold, you know.
Yeah, the Arnold was the last thing, and after that,
I miss those times, you know.
Everything went to hell right after the Arnold. Anyway, I don't want to get sad. So, thank you, Dr. Tuliados. Appreciate it so much. Guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the little bell thing, so you know when we're going to release new videos. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Ask Dr. Testosterone. We'll see you next time.